Hi everyone, I am Denise Claire Arfiel, and for today, allow me to present in behalf of Mr. Patrick M. Lotero and Miss Rosemary Raz for the review of the movie or the novel entitled Persuasion. This is written by Jane Austen. Now let's proceed to the table of contents. Of course, it includes the basic elements of a story, such as the theme, the main characters, the setting, the plot, and later on, the reaction of the viewers and readers. Now, the first one is the theme of the movie or the story. They say true love comes with a perfect timing. When we fall in love with someone, we want to start a relationship with that person right away. Because our only wish is to be with that person all the time. The problem is that we are so impatient. We don't know how to wait. We don't understand why we should wait. Unfortunately, that's exactly why we go through so many heartbreaks in our lives. Now let's proceed to the main characters. First we have is Anne Elliot, of course, the female lead. Second is Captain Frederick Wentworth, the male lead, and then we have Louisa Musgrove. We also have characters from Anne's family. We have Mary Musgrove, Elizabeth Elliot, and Sir Walter Elliot, Anne's father. Supporting characters. We have William Elliot, Lady Russell, the one who persuaded Anne, and Mrs. Clay. Now let's have the setting of the story. First, we have Somersetshire, the country house where the novel begins. Second, we have Lyme Regis, the village where the characters take a trip in the middle of the story. Third, we have the Killinge Hall, the grand ancestral home of the Elliot family. Last, the Uppercross Manor, the place where the house of Musgrove family are located. Now we're in the plot of the story. Let's start with exposition. Anne had previously been engaged to Captain Wentworth, but broke up with him because her family and friends disapproved. That is where Miss or Lady Russell persuaded Anne. Starting 8 years after Anne and Wentworth's first meeting and separation means that both characters have had plenty of time to think over their past actions and might be ready to do things differently the second time around. Rising action. Captain Wentworth returns to the area where Anne lives, but starts courting Louisa Musgrove instead of her. Anne and Wentworth are less in direct conflict with each other. They can barely speak to each other than they are with themselves. They want to pretend they don't care about each other, but those pesky underlying emotions keep coming out. Climax. When they both attend a concert in Bath, Anne realizes that Wentworth still loves her. Anne finds out from Mrs. Smith and that Mr. Elliot is a villain. As a climax, this is fairly quiet. No big explosions or passionate kissing. Just watching, talking, and thinking. Yet these paired revelations allow Anne to see clearly the two rivals for her affections under the mask they've been putting up, and to make up her mind about what she needs to do to get to her very own happy ending. Following action. Wentworth writes a letter to Anne explaining his feelings for her and expressing his hope that she still loves him too. Anne meets Wentworth and reveals her continued love for him. Here's where everything between Anne and Wentworth gets sorted out, when they're finally able to reveal their feelings for each other. After all the troubles, they've had to get this far. The rest will be relatively easy. Now let's proceed to the resolution, the last part of the plot, where Anne overcome her family's initial disapproval to marry and decided to follow the beat of her heart. Anne finds a letter Wentworth wrote to her and reads it. From there, she runs after him, hoping she's not too late. Luckily, fate is kind to both of them this time. She catches him on the street and they embraced and kissed. She also happens to see Mr. Elliot, who was supposed to be her potential suitor, making out with Penelope Clay, who everyone thought would marry her father. The film finishes with Mr. Elliot and Mrs. Clay's wedding and with Louisa and Henrietta matched up as well. We find Anne and Wentworth back where we saw them at the beginning. In a field, in each other's arms, it's a happily ever after for everyone as it should be. At this juncture, we are going to hear the reactions from each of the members, starting with yours truly. One thing I've noticed about Anne Elliot, the female lead, is that she is a jubilant girl whose thoughts are highly affected with her emotional state. For me, she's a ball of sunshine, especially when she's with her nephews. Anne knows her emotions way too well, and because of those emotions, she concluded certain possibilities, although some of it are unnecessary and would cause her own heart to shatter. Guess she likes tormenting herself through those thoughts, and that, I think, is a factor that hindered her to be with Frederick Wentworth earlier. It should have been less of a hassle, but I can say that all of it was worth it, and they do deserve to be in each other's arms. It's also overwhelming to think that she learned something from those mistakes, especially the part where she let Lady Russell persuade her not to be with the person she loves. Now, let's hear a reaction from Mr. Patrick Lotero, where he stated, "I would like to highlight the line that's said by Anne Elliot. She said, 'There's nothing worse than thinking of your life is ruined and then realizing you've got much, much further to fall.'" I agree. I believe this had a significant impact. Every person's life is highly complicated, and sometimes these issues, challenges, and struggles cause people to want to give up on it all. We often believe that the difficult times in our lives are the most awful times of our existence, while actually on our own trip, we are unaware that there is still room for even more fall. Today may bring some challenges, but bear in mind that tomorrow will bring even greater difficulties. Know that life is so difficult, we frequently fail and learn valuable lessons the hard way. Now let's hear a reaction from Miss Rosemary Raz, where she stated that I would disagree with what Lady Russell had said, that marriage is transactional for women, our basic security on the line. As she was explaining to Anne that her decision of giving up on Frederick was good because it was never okay to settle for a man with no rank, no fortune, and nothing but himself. Women must be empowered and establish themselves. Don't look for a rich man in order to live a comfortable life. Instead, do a hard work and reach your dreams. In that way, you will secure your life's future. Depending on your future to others will never really lead you to a true success. But pursuing to be successful on your own is a battle that you will win forever. That's all. Thank you.